Good evening and welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets.
What if the most important CEO position you'll ever hold isn't on a corporate ladder, but in your own home? We're talking about stepping into the role of Chief Executive Officer of your life, your family, and your domestic domain. It's not about control, it's about conscious stewardship. We'll explore how to architect a life of intention, build a resilient family culture, and lead your personal world with vision. Stay with us to learn how to run your home like a thriving enterprise and your life like a legacy project.
Greetings and welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Don't miss out. After a week full of noise, constant confusion, and distraction, this is the show that cuts through the clutter. It's the hour of the week where real talk meets real truth. We bring conversations that challenge the status quo and stir something deeper in the soul. This isn't just commentary, it's clarity, purpose, and elevation. When you tune in, you're not just watching, you're waking up. A place where common sense still matters and lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Put your hearts and hands together for the man who discovered his purpose and lives it loud, Larry Extraordinaire Moulton. And Mr. Gotta Get Your Mind Right and Open Your Eyes to the Blind Truth, the motivator himself, the amazing Keith Fletcher. And the man who brings clarity to chaos with the voice of reason you can't ignore, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig. Make no mistake, there is no word without our host. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the message. Welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Streets.
And good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year and welcome back to the world premiere, Word on the Streets. Friends, we are so excited to be back. We miss you all and we hope y'all missed us too. Yes, sir. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it on. Let's get it on. I can't wait to get with my brother so we can chop things up. First, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know this man. He's all over Facebook. He's now on TikTok. He's on YouTube. I'm talking about the one and only, the amazing Mr. Keith Fletcher. Hey, Mr. Fletcher.
Happy New Year.
All right. Happy New Year, my brother. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the man who brings clarity to, if it's confusion on the dashboard, this man, his voice is so eloquent. He just brings calmness to the sea. I'm talking about the one and only, Mr. Vincent Craig. Show him some love, everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I am extraordinaire, and we are the world premiere, Word on the Streets. And we're happy to be here with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, over the holidays, there's a lot of things that have been all in the Kool-Aid, trying to figure out the flavor. So we just going to jump things off. We want to kind of just meet each other before we dive into the program. We hope y'all okay with that. Brothers, how y'all doing, man? So good to see y'all. Talk to me.
Doing good, man. How are you? Just glad to be here, starting off the new year. Glad to just kind of just pull into the community and just kind of feed off one another. Just excited to see what it brings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What say you, Mr. Fletcher?
Man, I'm happy to be back, man. We back. World premiere World on the Street with our people, our community, our brothers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just happy to be back, man, and start this new year off right. You know, like I ended it, I'm gonna start it. We going, we hungry, man. Moving forward and giving the people what they need. I think we got something to give, and we're gonna give them what they need, man. That's what it's we're here for.
Yes, brothers, brothers. Oh man, y'all sound so good to my ears, man. You know, during the holidays, a break is good for everything, every season, and everybody. So certainly we needed a break, but also at the same time, I know that we all miss being on here, as you just said, Fletcher, communicating with our community because we know that you all probably drive by looking for that word, and understandably so. In this world we live in, there's just so much distraction, so much noise, to be perfectly honest with you. So when you can find a safe haven of a platform that's talking some common sense, that's rare, that's golden, and that's what we bring here on the world premiere Word on the Streets. And tonight, friends, like none other, we got a topic and a show for you tonight. This, I have to give credit, came out of the birth of the amazing Keith Fletcher. Fletcher was talking during the holiday, and I fell in love with this topic. And he planted the seed one time, but you know when you plant a seed one time, if it's a good seed, it's gonna grow on good soil. And he just mentioned it one time. And he talked about being the CEO of your life. I want y'all to just pause. Just take a moment, just take a breath and think of the gravity of what that means. We all have heard of, man, he's the CEO of this, she's the CEO of that. And we clearly understand what it means to be the CEO of an entity. So, in all fairness, Fletcher, won't you just open this dialogue up with the community, with us, about what you mean, what you meant about being a CEO?
I think we all can be a CEO. What brought this to my part, man, I done see CEOs, we done heard about Amazon CEO, Apple CEO, these big time CEOs. And the companies that I worked in as CEOs, and it just hit me, it's easier to be a CEO of a company than to be a CEO of your family, CFO
Mm,
of your family. It's even harder to build your team inside your family. Inside your family. So I went down the rabbit hole of what it takes to be a CEO of your family, CEO of a company. You know what I'm saying? So that would hit me like, man, the CEO, they have a plan. They drop a vision for the company. Even before they come to the company, they hire them. They ask them, what can you do for our company? Why should we hire you? And he ought to have a vision of what he brings. He have a resume of what he brings. He have all these things and what he gonna do with the family. With the company. So and he have all these teams that he set up and get them to see the vision, and then they go forward. But now it's and I just went down the rabbit hole, saying how a CEO can get fired. I was talking to Troy and everybody. I said, man, think about it. A CEO get fired, but I've seen a CEO get fired and do a horrible job, but get hired at another company. And I
mm,
went down that whole like how, and I thought about it. He got experience now to go ahead and be a part of that company. He done seen some things. He done seen some things that didn't work and some things that did work. So when you interview him, you say, what can you bring? And he can show the things that I failed on, that I've seen, that I have new eyes I was blind to, but now I know where the landmines at. I know what I can do for your company. So that's when I started seeing the difference between the CEO of a company. But now you go to a CEO of a family, you gotta get the wife, the key.
mm,
You don't have no bylaws.
mm.
You don't have no. Everybody ain't gonna jump on up. Everybody, you can't fire nobody. You know what I'm saying? You can get divorced, but you can't fire them and keep that company running. So it's a lot more entailing than CEO of the family, CFO of the family, than the CEO of a company. That's the difference.
And you know what, family, especially this one for you, Vincent, because this brother community, And to you personally, Vincent, you have that CEO vernacular. You talk so professional, my brother. So I'm sure you can kind of help the community relate what it means to be a CEO. And then to take it from where Fletcher was talking about, let's transfer it from being CEO on the job to CEO in your life, or maybe CEO on the job. Which street, ever street you want to turn to, your life or the job, but take us from out of that CEO on the job.
Gotcha. So for me, my thought process is I think at some point in time, we all wear the CEO, CFO hat within our families, especially when you're a husband. Because the deal is what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to buy in, right? You're trying to lay out your vision, lay out what it is that you want for the company, want for the family, right? Like I know in some families, people tend to have like a monthly family meeting, right? There's certain principles that are good to use in corporate America that we need to bring it home, right? Uh, Being able to have a budget, right? CEOs and CFOs have staff to kind of watch how the finances are, right? They have the right people in place. Sometimes you have to fire people, right? Sometimes you have to make the hard decision from a family perspective of taking certain tasks away and you want to put people where their strengths are at, right? It's about product placement. For me, we just got a new CEO in my company. We had a meeting. Yes, it's funny. We had a meeting and he goes and he tells his experience and his plan and what he anticipates and this and that. And he was like, does anyone have any questions? No one has questions. And so, me, I ask questions. I said, what does success look like for you? Right? Because I think when people start hearing the story of what his vision is and what he anticipates, and he's like, I want to turn this $350 million company into by 2030 and have it to be $1 billion company.
Hmm.
So when we're hearing that, it makes people's eyes look like, okay, we see more money coming in door, more acquisitions, more things, right? So when we're doing that at home, we got to be pretty clear and we got to send constant reminders to our family, to our kids, to our wives of where we are, right? This is why putting that vision board helps us, right? This is why having those family meetings, right, helps. No, you there are some good aspects to the corporate world that you could bring into your own home, right? So, but again, a lot of us are CEOs and CFOs and don't even realize it because it's just a part of our natural way of living life, right? So you need to shift and steer it in the right path.
Man, let me tell you all, family, this is such a meaty topic. And by the way, before we even get carried away in this dialogue, because things can go from 0 to 100, sometimes very quickly and very passionately. So in the event, I want to just say this off right at hand. Uh, Vincent will have to leave around, I think, 8:15. He have some very important obligation he have to tend to at 8:15. So I want to make sure that we allow him to exit in a very respectful and professional way. So I preference that by driving down this street again, because for the people who did not watch our last show, Fletcher talked about a situation whereby he was having family meeting and he and his wife was at odd in their talking about whatever it is they were talking about. So what he did, he drove away, and correct me, Fletcher, if I got it wrong or got it right, so they could talk more privately among themselves so that they can get it right between the two of them before they bring it back to the whole household. See, that's personally to me, that's part of what Vincent and Fletcher both said about this family meeting. Sometimes as a CEO, like on your job, friends, you all have experienced this. Sometimes you get called in on the job from your supervisor, and it's just you and that supervisor because the both of y'all have to get some understanding. So rather than get some understanding with the whole staff, sometimes that understanding require one on one, so you all could walk out on the same page. Am I tracking? Go ahead
No,
on.
you're no,
Huh?
you're absolutely right, man. Sometimes we have to make like it's no different than the corporate world, right? We have to be clear and concise in the communication, right? And I think sometimes we think certain conversations have taken place within the family, within our businesses that we run, right? Keith has a business, right? So he has to be very clear and concise with what his ask and what he specifically needs, right? Because if they're not doing it, then it's impacting his budget or it's impacting his revenue that's going to come in, right? Sometimes you got to fire people, right? Sometimes you have to have meetings with the understanding of, look, let's not do a lot of finger pointing. Let's come here with the understanding of how do we respect what each other has to say, even if we don't agree with it, to where we can understand so we can get in front of the problem, right? Because as I told people today in my, I had to teach two lunch and learns today at work. And I said, look, I had two other teams in with two of my teams. And I'm like, first of all, I'm trying to find a win-win for all sides. I said, because what we do impacts the customer experience, right? We want the customer to have a great experience, right? So sometimes you got to have those same conversations with the wife, with the kid, and telling how it's impacting the family, how it's impacting like hey, our spending habits, right? Talking to the wife, talking to the husband, right? Or vice versa. Whoever the wife may be saying, she may wear the CFO hat at some time, right? Somebody got to be CFO, somebody got to be the CEO, right? You got to co-lead together, right? There's some decisions that have to be made and some crucial conversations, and everyone may not agree, but it's like, how do we find a light ground, some common ground, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead on,
Well,
Fletcher.
yeah, and we talking about somebody got to be so that means that somebody got to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? In a company, they don't have two CEOs. They have a president and a vice president. So that means somebody got to take the role and take the leadership role. Somebody got to say, okay, I got it. I got it. Everything is on me. You know, just like a coach. If I tell my family, my wife, they're like, well, let me just say the CEO. If the CEO go, he got to go to the board. Now, I don't care what happened down that company. That CEO got to explain why this happened, why we haven't made that. You came in front of the company and said you're gonna turn the company around, you're gonna make millions. Why we haven't made it? What's the reason why? A coach, he get up on that stand, he talking about the team lost. Why did the team lose? He can't say, well, I got a sorry quarterback. You got to take ownership because you said this is what you're gonna do. So the same thing in the family. And this the problem with the family part. We don't want to know who the leader, and a lot of us don't want to be the leader, don't want the leadership. Because he wearing them shoes, taking that hat on, it take a lot of responsibility. That's why I say we got to get back there. It take a lot of responsibility to say, I got it, my bad. Like I told my wife one time, I say, make a decision. I say, babe, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you why I'm the way I am. If just say we make a decision, we lose the house, and it's your fault. You know it's your fault. You tell everybody it's your fault. They don't care about that. Some kind of what would Keith at? Didn't what Keith just it's gonna come back on. It's gonna be something. You done told him, I did this wrong. You know what I'm saying? No, wait a minute. He just sit there and just he let you. So I'm taking and see. I'm not gonna say if it come to me. I'm not gonna say my wife did that. It's my bad, bro. I got it. I gotta fix this. I gotta find a way. You see what I'm saying? That's taking leadership responsibility. So I want to tell this story first, and if I had like Vince said, I have a company. I'm a new CEO. I get the company. I'm excited. I see the vision. So we started working and doing the stuff. Airbnb started. I got them cleaned, and I got everybody. Everybody got their role. But I want to micromanage everybody. I want to tell everybody what they doing wrong. I want to say this. So one day I got mad. I said, I'm fired all y'all. Y'all fired. That's it. Now, when the bell ring, when the thing, I got to go clean the house by myself. I got to go fix. I got to do everything. So I came back to the family. I said, look, we got to have a meeting. We need to sit down and talk. They said, no, you want to talk to us about it. We don't. We're not a part of your meeting.
You fired us.
I said, hey, cut it out now. I need you back. See what I'm saying? I need you back. See, somebody got to be, hey, hold on. Somebody got to be, hey, over me. Just because I'm the leader, it's still, so now that means, okay, I got to put something in place. I got to put something in place for my ego, for when I get on the line, that I can go see the bylaws, how this should go, who I should talk to, who take over when I'm not wrong. So I got to set a better plan for this, even to cover me when I'm not there or when I'm off the, you know what I'm saying, off track. So when I brought them back, I had to write off some rules. Okay, I can't do this again. I was out of line. You know what I'm saying? So again, taking ownership, even when you do mess up. You know what I'm saying? So this leadership in the family, and I'm gonna just say the black family. I think more roles we need to address who's the leader. If you want to be the wife or the husband, I feel I got to tell mine the husband, but anyway, the wife or the husband. But somebody got to say, okay, that's your role. You take ownership. This and that. What a vision is. Let's sit down and come up with a plan, a vision, and make it clear, and understand that the vision, like you said, the CEO of the company, he made a vision, he made a plan, but like every quarter dictates, right there, Vince. Every quarter dictates where we going. Every quarter dictates what do we need to change, how we risk it goes. So that's what we have to do: sit down and have our meetings, like you said. Our meetings quarterly, weekly, monthly, whatever. Tear it come into alignment where we need to go. The good, the bad, the ugly. So that's it, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I went too long,
Oh
man.
no, that's all good. And in fact, we're gonna chop it up some more because I think we're driving down the street where most people live. And that same street where most of us live, companies have the same problems and issues that we have in the home. And you touched on it, Fletcher. And this emotional thing of dealing with a family member when we decide we're gonna have family meetings and look direction where what we're striving for, what our end goal is, what our short term, long range, what our goals are as a family, as a unit, where are we headed? And just like on a real job, everybody doesn't buy in. Now, that's what we want to talk about. How do we handle those different personalities that don't buy in? Talk to me, my brothers.
I can definitely talk on that.
Somebody need this part right
I
here.
can definitely talk on that. So on my team, I have 8 different personalities. I have 4 on one team, 4 on the next, right? So it's my job to basically get a regular pulse on how the team is doing. I have to watch for patterns. I have to watch for body language. I have to watch for just everything. Like everything has to get measured, right? Because what gets measured gets done. So for me, as a leader of people, it's my responsibility. But at the same time, I want my team to hold me accountable, right? I always tell them, I'm not above being told something. I said, but just make sure your approach is right. I said, because the energy that you give is gonna might be the energy that you get, right? So I
Ooh,
have to be very
ooh,
mindful
man,
in
man, that was work. Say that one more time, please.
the energy that you give might be the energy that you receive back. So, but as I tell my teams often, I said, you know what? I said, unfortunately, I said, me as a leader, uh, I can't have a bad day, right? Because there'll be an HR, right? People on the floor have a little bit more flexibility, right? So for me, I almost have to be in a perfect situation, but it's like, even when I'm having my one-on-ones, right? I sit up here and I take time and I write down what we're talking about. And I tell them, I said, hey, what's discussed in these one-on-ones stays with us. I said, but I will send you a recap back so that this can help you and help me. Because this is a document of what we discuss. If it talks about growth issues, patterns or where you want to go with your career, it's my job to look at this and hold you accountable and say, you said that you wanted to get to this point A and point B by a certain time. What are you doing? I can't do everything for you, but I can hold you accountable, right? It's a partnership, right? Sometimes you got to put people on a pip, right? Sometimes you got to give them a verbal. Sometimes you got to write them up. In the family, sometimes you got to take some allowance away, right? Like there's methods and there's different rules of, again, trying to use what you learned in the corporate world into your house. If it works in the corporate world, why can't it work in the house, right? You got to be mindful too. My wife has also told me, she says, I'm not one of your reports. You got to tone it down a bit because I'm not one of your reports, right? So again, you have to be aware of your audience. But every quarter, right, we do bad debt risk to see what we're gonna write off, right? And if it's too much write-offs, then it's going to impact the actual revenue, right? There's forecasts that you see. Success leaves clues, right? And as a CEO and as a CFO, you have to get in front of it, but you also have to put people in place that you trust to actually do the job. And you have to have regular checkups and follow-ups to see how everyone is doing. Now, you may have a staff of 800 people. You can't possibly contact and reach 800 people. So you got to have the right people in place that have an understanding of your vision so that that cascades down the pole. So,
Yeah, got you. Fletcher, peel that onion, brother.
I wonder the question about, like you said, the CEO. Everything is easy in the office, but like you said about your wife, you know, when that person don't buy in, and I'm not saying buy in, but the vision not clear. She wants. She want all the great things. The vision look good. Yes, she want the house. She want the car. She want all the stuff. But when they don't want to do the work to get the stuff, how that's the part. How do you win them over like that? Like, so you can't, like you said, I can go in the corporate office. I can have my employees come and I can sit down with them and we can write up a plan and we can. But when you have your CFO right there with you and you sitting down with them and you went over the budget with them and you went over where we going with them, the vision, and it keep going astray. How do you reel them back in as a CFO? How do you reel them back in? That's the
There
how.
lies,
right.
there lies the meat and potato.
Yeah.
There lies the meat and potato because on the job, they may let you go. Chances are they will let you go.
Mhm.
But, you know, when it's like that in the home, then it may not happen. You can't just end up divorcing after a disagreement on not being able to see eye to eye over that situation, and that's there lies the problem. And then you may have kids, and and with kids, that's always going to be one.
Mhm.
It's always going to be one, contrary to no matter what is presented to them. And and I think this is where people are searching. This one of the areas people, I believe, are searching for. How do we balance that? How do we cope with that? How do we find these keys to work things out? I think we were on to something last week when you mentioned, Fletcher, sometime you have to separate from the family, just you and your spouse. And when you separate from them, if it's a drive out in the wherever you need to go in the country, in the park, at a hotel, but sometimes it requires that one-on-one of being able to express yourself in the way in which you need to express yourself to be heard and to be understood, and likewise for them also to be able to express themselves and explain themselves why they can't buy what you're selling. And that way we can start getting some understanding I may need to repackage my presentation. It kind of goes back to what you were saying, Vincent, finding that common ground. Because a lot of time when it's kind of hard to get to some resolution if it's an audience, i.e., being the family, the kids. And sometimes it's hard to get some resolution uh, when it's more than you and the other person there. And more importantly, this is why even get an understanding with a friend or an associate, you probably stand a better chance getting understanding when it's just you and that other person where you can press them to clarify their position. A lot of time we don't, we need clarification. We need clarification for clarification so the picture become 2020 clearer to us. Talk to me, somebody.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes you have to step back and you got to come back with a 30, 60, 90 plan. In corporate America, we have a 30, 60, 90. When we have a new hire, there's a 30, 60, 90. When someone comes in, we're going to check with you in 30 days. We're going to check with you in 60. We're going to check with you in 90. Right? So what you do at home is, okay, let's go over this. Do we have business processes and SOPs and standard operating procedures and at home? No, but there's still a sense of direction of, I'll use Keith as an example. He has a business. He wants it done a certain way, right? He doesn't anticipate someone just coming in with no direction and them being successful, right? He has to give them the actual blueprint of what he wants, how he wants it, how frequent he wants it, how frequent certain tasks need to be done, right? So with the historical data, if Keith has enough information of this person not doing what's required, week over week over week, you have historical data to prove to that person, hey, this is what the result has been over the last 6 weeks. Let's try it a different way, right? And then you come back and then you do regular checkups on that. It comes with consistent communication, consistent checking in. Is it micromanaging? Some may say yes, some may say no. I'm an advocate of I can't be successful if I don't know what to do, right? I'm only as good as the information I receive, right? So we got to be forthcoming and be open and honest and make sure people understand what it is directly that we want, right? If Keith doesn't spell out what he wants, he may not get it, but it's the definition of insanity, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over, but you keep getting the same results, but you expect stuff to change. If you're not changing anything, nothing's going to change.
And I, like what Vince saying, like just go back to the CEO when he said he going from 300,000 to a million. You know what I'm saying? So why are we gonna do this for three? So now, if I say okay, everybody lead a meeting, now all these things start happening. All these people start changing. Now you're working longer hours. You're getting all the reports, and you don't understand why you're getting these things. But I just told you I'm about to change this company to a million, but I never explained to you why I'm changing it.
Huh.
He said he's 350 million to a billion, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Nah,
To a
man,
billion.
you
Yeah.
understand each
Right.
employee,
You
one y'all got to produce this much more for us to make that much more.
right, right,
Never
right.
explained that. You just said a number, but you never
Right.
said why. So that what Vince said is perfectly fine. Now, why do I got to do this? Why we do these things this way? You know what I'm saying? You just can't come in here and just say, "Well, this is no, this isn't how we do it here." Like you said, that the data show. Matter of fact, I got goals every quarter. I want to be here. Last year we're here, but we made these changes. We want to get here. You know what I'm saying? So going back to the wife, with me, I didn't understand a lot of things till I became my own owner. I came out the middle. I came from a single mother. You know what I'm saying? But I came out when I went in the military, and the military way is totally different than the civilian way. So I went from that to the military. And the military, one thing I learned about the military, you told somebody. I didn't have to tell everybody. I told one, two, like if I'm in charge, I'm gonna tell somebody else. It's gonna go down the hill. Hey, I need you to do this, and I expect to be done by this time. That's his job. Now, how you do it? I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Well, I want so and so to do this and so and so to do that." No, I want you because I'm trying to teach you how things should be able to work. This is how we do things. This is what I'm training you how that. So if it didn't get done, it was consequences. You know, it was no. Yeah, the kids were sick. I had to take off. Man, nobody don't care about no kids being sick. Didn't I tell you to have some that and stuff about so and so? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was no excuses in the army. So when I got in the civilian world, I became manager. And I remember that happened to me. I was at work and the girl came call me, said, "Hey, I can't come in today." I said, "Well, why you can't come in?" Well, my mama can't get it right. I don't care what your mama can't get. I know you better be to work. You better be working at 5 o'clock. You better find another way to bus or something to get here. And my manager told me, "Hey, you're not gonna make it along treating people like that, kid. You're not in the military no more. You know what I'm saying? The expectations are different." So I had to learn the in between. But going into my with my wife, like you said, SOPs. SOPs like, okay, we're not gonna argue in the house. We're gonna take a ride and we're gonna go sit out here and we're gonna sit hash things out. One of my wife is, hey, don't be wishy-washy. I don't work that well. If you say something to me, let's do that. Don't come change it 2 weeks later, then another 2 weeks later, then 30 days later. Then I don't work well like that. You know what I'm saying? I need to be understood. Give it to me. Why we change it? So some people, and I'm starting to learn, like some people do things different, handle things different. Like Vince said, I got different employees. We got different attitudes. So I know my daughter, she's like me. I can tell her something in a hard voice. She gonna put all aside. She gonna solve the problem. My son, God, no, I can't. Once you start hollering, he done shut down. He ain't, they don't, and we done. You know what I'm saying? So each one of them in the family, same as employee, you've been there, you know what to give them. You just don't expect everybody to move the same way you want to move. And I had to learn that when I became owner. Like, okay, now, hey, when I do pay you, I'm gonna deduct your pay. You came in, you did 2 hours, you ain't work, you were done in this time, you left for this and that deduction. And I laugh about my wife. When my kids were young, they didn't know what a deduction was. They're like, "Oh, yeah, deduction." So when they looked at their pay, hey, what? Why ain't get paid? That's a deduction. So they start understanding these things. Start like I said. So those are SOPs that have been put in place that you didn't even know there was SOP, but they start being put in place like that as we going on and on. And I start finding different ways to address them, different ways to speak to them. But it happened for me when I started really planning and seeing, like making the vision clear. I really had to make the vision clear. If I want this to work, when you go to work for somebody, you don't really have to make the vision. You know what I'm saying? I'm employed. They give me my little role. I play that. But when everything's on you, you got to make the vision clear. You got to make this work. You know what I'm saying? You taking ownership on this. Now I got the household, I got the business, I got the kids' school, I done took on all these. So now, how do I maneuver and make these things work all together? So that's what I'm saying. I came up to CEO like, man, it's easier being a CEO of a company than doing this for your family because, man, like you say, you got that kid that ain't gonna listen, that kid that stay in trouble, that kid. How do I reach him? You know what I'm saying? I got to take ownership and say, you know what? It ain't the kid's fault. It's my fault. I didn't make it clear. What can I do? You know what I'm saying? So again, and I don't go along. That's that time I need to get by myself. I need to go back in and figure that out. You know what I'm saying? I need to go figure that out. How can I improve myself to make reach him better? So that's how I see it over there.
Now, gentlemen, Vincent is going to be departing from us in just a couple of minutes, but before he leave, I'm sure he has some final words he want to share with us. And after our commercial break, if you was enjoying what Fletcher was talking about, he got a lot more to share with you because we're gonna unleash the amazing Keith Fletcher right after the commercial break. But before we do that, Vincent, why don't you share with us some departing words before you leave, my brother?
No, I just think this is a great conversation, man. I don't think people understand how much responsibility it is, and I think Keith hit the hit the actual nail on the head. Everybody wants to be successful, but they don't want to put the work in, right? It is easier to go work for people because they already have a foundation and a plan lined out as far as what needs to be done. All you got to do is just go in, look at the processes, learn, train, and be successful. One of my biggest issues, I don't want to say, one of the challenges that I have is how do I continue to motivate people? How do I continue to get the best out of people? How do I continue to challenge people? Right. And I'm not a CEO at the company, but I'm a manager of two departments. So for me, it is up to me. And I even had one of my uh, one of my reports tell me today, because I have a person that's absent, it was like, don't assume that just because the person was absent that we knew what to do, because we didn't know if the person was going to be back the next day or the next day. But unless you tell us, hey, this person may not be here for the whole week, then it's up to you to direct us, right? So I have to have strong shoulders, and I got to understand when I'm wrong, right? When I'm falling short as a leader, right? Whether it be a CFO, CEO, manager, with a parent or whatever, I have to be able to not take stuff personal and understand and use the feedback that I'm getting to get better, right? So that's my exit words there.
All right.
We have to be humble enough to uh, we got to be humble enough to take the feedback that we're given, right? A lot of people take the feedback and they do it as a check the box moment, right? All right, well, I got it from you, right? No, the feedback that I want to know is important because it helps me to help you. And as I ask each of my reports in the one-on-one, and they'll tell you this today: what can I do to help be a better leader and to help our relationship, to help our work relationship? To me, that's true leadership, because you're really seeking their advice on how stuff needs to do, right? So
That's that second question, man. I'm glad you said that because that same question I asked my kids, I asked the people that my people that work for me, I ask them that same question. How can I be better to address you? You know what I'm saying? How can I? Because like you say, everybody, we think everybody's the same, but people are different and they want to be done a different way. So how can I make it better for you to make it better for me? You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you on that. Even my son, and my kids, I do that with them. How can I be a better father to talk to you? I don't know what I'm saying. I might not be listening to you. I'm over talking to you and you're not receiving. Hey, tell me. I'm just, Dad, let me finish saying what I'm saying. If I'm over talking you, I'm not getting the point. Make it clear. Let me know. Now you're gonna do it in a respectable way. Just like you said, if you at your job, you ain't gonna just say, "Man, shut the," you're gonna do it in a respectable way. So that's what it's all about. Yes, I like what you said, Vince.
and I'm glad you said that, Keith, because it took my ex-wife to kind of get something stuck in my head. She says, Luke, she says, are you talking to Luke or are you talking at Luke?
Hmm.
It's a big difference when you like look at that and be like, dang, I didn't really realize that. Because we as parents, we get so, but it's like, are you talking to the person or are you talking at the person? Right. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this content, please do us a small favor. Click like and subscribe, because once you subscribe, you will be notified every and anytime we go live on the air. You will never miss our live episode. So why don't you take a few moments to click like, subscribe, and by all means, leave us a comment. Let us know what part of this dialogue, this episode you enjoy. What part resonate with you? So friends, tune in and don't go anywhere, because this is part one. We have a passionate part two with the amazing Keith Fletcher and myself coming up next. So don't leave. We'll be right back with y'all in less than 5 minutes.
Is your room starting to feel a little overcrowded? Clothes piling up, toys everywhere, or a dorm that just won't stay organized? Meet the 9-Cube Closet Organizer, the simple, stylish way to take back your space. It comes with all the storage bins included in 2 different sizes, so everything from baby clothes to blankets, books, and toys finally has a home. Assembly is quick and easy. No tools, no stress. Just snap it together and start organizing. Each cube is reinforced with steel bars and a sturdy, rust-proof frame built to handle real life. Perfect for bedrooms, baby closets, playrooms, apartments, and dorms. Declutter your space, upgrade your room. Get the 9-Cube Closet Organizer today. On sale now for only $64.96.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor. Subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it, because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere word on the streets. You are the CEO of your life. Let's get straight to it. You are not an employee of your life. You are the CEO. This is your one and only promotion that changes everything. It's not about ego, it's about ownership. The CEO doesn't wait for a manual, they write it. They don't just manage tasks, they set the vision. Your time, energy, and focus, that's your capital. You are the one who approves where it gets invested every single day. So act like the boss. Audit your resources. Are you spending your best hours on things that don't move you forward? Are you spending 80% of your time on things that only delivered 20% of your fulfillment? That's a bad business model. Are you constantly in reactive mode, putting out fires? That's operational chaos, not leadership. That's a bad business model. Have the courage to delegate what drains you and invest in what builds you. Your mission is to build a life that is profitable, not just in money, but in peace, purpose, and joy. Know your stakeholders, your family, your friends, your community. Serve them with excellence, but remember, you are ultimately accountable to the mission, not just to every single demand. And third, protect your capital. You cannot run a company into the ground. Your sleep, your health, your mental peace, that's your operating capital. Stop waiting for permission. You are the final sign-off. So what's the next strategic move for your one and only enterprise? Authorize it. Execute. The power to sign off on your own future? It's already on your desk. The pen is in your hand.
Keep those comments coming in the chat room as we return to becoming the CEO of your life, your home, your family, and your destiny.
Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're talking about being the CEO. You being the CEO. Stop having the concept in your mind that you're just an employee. You're more than an employee, friends. You are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of your family. So take ownership. Take ownership. And I'm excited, friends. Uh, Vincent gave us some good words before he left. But I'm excited about part two, what we're about to bring to you and for you. Because this thing about being the CEO, it goes so much deep, friends. And we're going to open up the books. Now, Fletcher, why don't you just deep dive in us what it means to be not just an employee in the household, but being that CEO? You talked about it earlier about taking ownership, taking responsibility. Talk to us, brother.
And building a culture. You building a certain culture, way of life for your family, for your as a company. What your CEO do? He come and build a certain culture that's a winning culture, a confident culture. You know what I'm saying? Being a CEO got to have a strong belief. Got to have a strong belief in yourself, strong belief in your company, strong belief in your abilities to be a CEO of your family. These things, these characters that people, and I think society start breaking that down, trying to make you be more weaker, more soft, or more no. But you got to be strong in your beliefs, strong in what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Be a problem solver. That's your role to solve the problem and keep moving forward as a CEO. And again, man, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like I said, I've been in the military. I've ran soldiers. Platoons. Multiple platoons of soldiers. It's easy doing that than having your family because it's like you said, it's hard, especially when you're not home all day. Especially when it's more than just one word. It's you and your wife, and as your partner, as your teammate, how you was raised. All these things buy in on it, and it's not like you said. You can't fire nobody. You can't put them in timeout. You got to find a way find a way. You can't.
It get very dicey, man, when you're dealing with a family.
It does. It get very dicey. Very, very challenging. You know,
Yes, it
and
does.
yeah, and trying to like say and humble yourself to listen to the other person. Just because you're the leader, you still just because you said okay, I'm taking on, you still got to listen to the other person in their ways too. When you have those meetings that you're having, you can't be the one speaking all the time. You can't be the one pointing everything they did wrong all the time. You got to humble yourself and listen to the critique. Listen, because like you said, when CEOs do, your CEO come down, to the company, and he will go to each companies and go through each uh, building, go to each manager and go to each employee and ask them what do they do, what do you see can do better, and we're gonna have a survey of things. You ask questions, you have that. So you got to listen to what your employees saying. You got to listen to what your customers saying. So it ain't just you; it's the pulse of the company. See if that culture that you create is the right culture, and
Yeah.
you say you doing it. You got to ask.
You know, that's so true. And not only that, when they do that, Fletcher, they tell you don't have to put your name on it, so you don't know who it is
Oh,
saying.
no, I'm saying it. Yeah, anonymous. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
But
but yeah.
we're gonna, brother. I want you to dive in on when you have said you and the family, you've come to some agreement on the budget, and why you have the family as a unit, you and your wife, basically y'all the CEO and CFO, y'all come to some agreement. But then you have friends. This is outside of the company now that come with some grand ideals and present it to one of you all, either your wife or yourself, about doing things that is contrary than the plan that y'all both agree on. How do you handle that? For example, to put a little bit more cover on it, you got a budget plan, but then your friend, your best friend, come to you and say, "Man, let's take a trip to the Bahamas, a week trip," and it's not part of the plan, but that trip sounds so enticing. Sound like a great idea. How do you handle that?
Now, like you said, that plan, this plan right here that we wrote down, that we said, I'm just saying, this is the law. You know what I'm saying? This is the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So we got this Bible, and we sitting down, and we going over the plan. We going over the goals. We going over what we said we gonna do, and that's what we go by. But let me say this to you, extraordinary. And I told my friend the same question happened to my friend. I say, it's a time and place. I got my CEO hat on. I got the corporate hat. I'm my chest out. But again, you got to get the pulse of your the people that you with, your wife, your kids. You got, what I'm saying? What do they need? Am I driving them too hard? So sometimes you got to take that hat on and put that husband hat on. And that husband hat or the father hat or what I'm saying, the friend hat, you got to look at it with different eyes. Now, hopefully that your wife and your kids understand the law, the budget, and the book, that why we can't take it or what it's going to cost to take it. Like I tell my wife all the time, put it on the scale. We're looking at the budget, we're looking at the law, we're looking at the plan we have. Is it that important to you? You know what I'm saying? Is it that important to you that you ready to risk what we plan? Are you ready to push back what we plan? Because we can push it back, but are you ready to risk that for that? Because I've been that person for right now. Nah, we doing it this way. It's what we said we're gonna do, and this is what we're going. But it didn't work that way. Sometimes you do got to take that hat off, and sometimes you got to pass it and say, okay, let's do it that way.
Mhm.
I tell my son sometimes, I'm gonna get to the other part. I tell him sometimes, uh, a good CEO, a good father, always prepare for the storm, right? I always know everything in them laws not going to fall the way you want to fall.
Mhm.
So I tell my son, I give him scenarios because I'm trying to teach him how to be CEO. I say,
Une- Unexpected rain, huh?
yeah, unexpected rain. So I tell him, I say, so let's just say like this, you and your wife, and that happened. Well, I want to take this, my friend. You don't know they're getting married and all this stuff, and you think, well, baby, man, I'm gonna have to work more hours. You trying to make it happen, but you got something put away. You got some stuff that you put away just in case. You know what I'm saying? You got to go break. You know what I'm saying? Break the glass. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and you come and say, well, baby, I did this, I did that, and I call it the Superman effect. You come save the day. You know what I'm saying? Now ain't gonna be too many of those days, but you got to read the room. Sometimes you might have to break that glass to have that put aside, and that's what it takes. You got to be planning even for those days. A good CEO plan for the bad days, the good days. You're always planning. You're always looking forward because these things can change. So, but now going back to the budget, like to the point that again, that's a beginning say. I went through that in the beginning, but let's just say now we got these rules, these plans, these regulations set in place. When I can come to my CFO, I can come to my wife, and I can come to my kids, and I say, "Hey, you see what we wrote here? Oh yeah, I know. Oh, don't worry about it." But it took time to get there. It's a marathon. Like you say, you got quarters, you got monthly budgets, you got you know what I'm saying, you got weekly, you got. It took time to get to that place where I can just say, "Hey man, no, we can't go." Not for I can say like, and this happens to us now. Our friends go on trips now, and my wife be like, "Nah, we good. We're not going because we have a plan, and we went by the plan, and the plan is set it." But in the beginning, no, sure. Now I'm saying it take a while to get that, to build that culture, to build that
Yeah.
to build that thing. So I'm gonna tell you, it took me and my wife a while to get to that, and my family a while to get like this Christmas. I'm gonna use an example. This Christmas, I'm not big on Christmas. And my wife like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. My kids give lists. I always mess with them. Y'all too old for lists. So this year, she like, hey man, the kids didn't give us no list. I say, and I went talk to him. I said, hey man, y'all, your mama want. Oh, I really don't want nothing. I really don't want to spend nothing. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. They start saying these things, but you got that one, my youngest son, that Rudy. He's like, yeah, I want all mine. I got my, I want all my list, Dad. I got all this.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in working with, what I'm saying, the other three, seeing it, and it works, you know what I'm saying. But and again, it starts with you first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with you. You
Right.
make the decision. You got to. So you come in there and say, okay, you might not be tripped, but you want them new rims for your car. It might not be a trip, but it might be that watch. I love watching, Victor Watch. It might be that watch that you finally been wanting, that you say, oh, I got the money, but baby, it might, you know what I'm saying? It might be that thing like that. It might be something like that to you. You know what I'm saying? So it starts with you first. Your sacrifice, your discipline, your habits. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go tell them not that you're not living it too. But you the one, like I tell my son, the CEO gonna be the last one to eat. The CEO gonna be the last one to get the present. See, you know what I'm saying? Because we building something. He already know when the future is gonna come, but right now he's trying to build and create something to get to that point when he can eat fat. You know what I'm saying? When he can have this and have that. So it take a lot of sacrifice and discipline with that focus.
Here's what I say, man, and please you follow up on this.
Yeah, good.
That the CEO is, you know, and oftentimes it's like being that policeman, and as we all know, nobody want to be the cop.
Nobody like that.
Nobody want to be the one give a ticket. And it's hard. And I want to submit this to the community out there. Practice on saying no.
Mm.
You see, no is that's an easy word to spell, but I found in life it's harder to do. People don't want people don't expect you to say no, and they don't want you to tell them no.
Mm.
Family members don't want to hear no. And your most likable person is the one that people tend to disrespect the most because that person always saying yes to everybody and everything. And that person tend to be the one that they least respect. That other person who say no, they tiptoe before they go up to that bear. So talk to me, brother.
You know what? I'm gonna have you laughing extraordinary. I was that person that would say yay. My wife was the one at first.
Yeah,
Oh, the kids
yeah.
would come to me, like you say, but they wouldn't go to her. You know what I'm saying? I was the one. But the reason I was saying yay because I didn't want to deal with him. I just say, hey, go get it. Yeah, get this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to be, like you said again, I didn't want to be the leader. I didn't really want to be the bad guy.
Right, didn't want to be the bad guy. That's where a lot of us are now, man. We don't want to be the bad guy.
You don't want to be that. But again, but I'm gonna tell you again, that's before we had the goals. That before we start planning. That before we start having the meetings. It was we was just in the wind. We were just blowing all over the place. We were just doing all these things. And before we start making it clear, making the vision clear. You know.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you
That's
like this. I'm gonna tell you when the hardest time to say no when you got the money, you got the credit, you got all these things,
yeah,
and you say no.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
That's
like
hard.
why we got
That's
the
hard. When
it's
you know
hard,
you can do
and when you know you can, and they know you can,
it.
they know you can. They know what you got. They ain't looking at it. They said, and you said no, not now. Why? What's the problem? Why I can't? This is this. But we talk, so that's standing your ground. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we're not doing that. We're not eating out. We're not going to eat out. We're not going to spend this. No, no, I got it. I told you about the vision, what we doing. What we got, why we got no. Just saying, being that bad guy, checking all the time, why we did this. Hey, let's sit down. Why we went up hey, what is this right here we spent? I'm gonna have you laughing, man. My wife used to give me all the time because they were like, "Hey man, what is this bill here? What is she like? What we going to then there's something I done spent?" I'm like, "Oh, oh,
Oh, yeah, that ain't nothing else, right?
oh yeah,
Right.
I
That's
got,
not that bad, right?
I know, now you want to apologize, but like you said, being on top of it, but that was when I was, and I remember, man, I used to handle everything, and I said, okay, I went to my wife and I said, hey, it's time for you to handle the finances. She like, what? I said, yeah. When you do it, I said, hey, you got to handle finances. We got to work through this. And I tell my wife as a CEO, as being the leader of your household, what if something happened to me? If something happened to me, where do you go? What do you do? You know what I'm saying? If I've been handling everything and now you got to go on that road, what now you got to learn what? No, let's do this together. No, you got to start taking over the money. Matter of fact, because the reason I'm sure we going through the next generation. If something happened to me, who gonna teach the kids? Who gonna show them? So yeah, and like I say, and she did it her way, and my way didn't work. And I remember when she first, and I talked me and Straw talk about it when she put everything on automatic pay. I like to lost my mind, Straw. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm telling you, I thought you being lazy. I'm like, oh no, man, you being lazy. This is ridiculous. You just don't care. And she's like, what are you saying? And I'm like, no, why you hype? This is what I'm trying to say. At the time, I could not see what she was saying. I'm like, no, man, I like to make sure this and make sure that. She said, but it's going in. We got the money. We going. And she was right. We do everything on automatic pay now, but it started with giving it over to her, and she saw the vision, and she did it. And it was like, wow, it made sense. And I remember we started doing my business with my brother, and he was paying stuff. I said, man, put it on automatic. He said, well, man, I ain't. I said, look, dude, we got the money and paying itself. He's like, I ain't really think about it like that. I said, yeah, we got the money and pay. So just by her doing it changed both of us. You know what I'm saying? By her changing up, putting in that role, made us see something different. So, like I said, you got to have a team effort. Just because you say your way, this is the way I always do it. This is what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to pass it on to learn more to get better. You know what I'm saying? Because you build it.
That's
Something
right.
you're always growing. So being that CEO, man, you always.
And that's what this platform does. It helps you to grow. Now we use the word like good guy, good cop, bad cop, only to get your attention. But once you start growing, evolving, it's not about who's good, who's the bad one, who's the good one. Those words will draw you in so you can see the picture clearly, vividly. But the point is, friend, you have to take some constitutional stand within the home, within your structure. Even if you're a single person, if you're a single person, you got income coming in, You need to CEO over yourself, over your finance, over your health, over every aspect of your life. Don't just haphazardly wake up, go to work, come home. That's not living. And Fletcher, so many of us, you and I, we talked about this. So many people get caught up going to work, working, retire, and for some strange reason, they think once they retire, they're done. They're
Yeah,
done living. We have to start changing our concept and how we see life, how we see ourselves. What say you, my brother?
yeah, I really truly believe that, man. And like I say, when I started doing this concept, man, started really being that guy. I had to, like I said, start with me internal. I had to start with a lot of internal stuff with me. Again, I had to start it with my belief system because I would say I had a negative way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? I had a surviving mindset instead of a thriving mindset. So
Oh
I always
man, say
survived.
that again. Say that. Wait. Slow it down just a notch. Wait. What you had? What kind of mindset?
A surviving mindset instead of thriving.
That's what most of us are right there. Now break
Yeah,
that down, please. What
yeah.
do you mean by survival mindset?
I was always trying to pay the next bill, trying to catch up, always in the real, worrying about what's going to happen. What if this happen? What does it happen? Had no vision, no plan. I was just living by the day. You know what I'm saying? And with that survival, it's like I never was ahead extraordinary. It's like I was always behind. And then you know how that, oh Lord, see, something always happening. I was always,
Always happen.
oh, something always happen, man. Oh, hey, boy, I'm glad I had that little money I had, boy. See, if I wouldn't have that little money, boy, God help me with that.
Right.
It's always something, man.
And let me ask you an honest question. Were you happy when you had that survivor mindset?
no, man, I wasn't happy at all, man. Not at all. It was like I said again. Think about when you trying to catch up and you behind in the race, or you happy trying to catch up. You speeding fast. You trying to blow them up. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't. Yeah. So no. And I'm seeing opportunities pass me by. I'm seeing things that I want that I said I think I should have passing me by. And then it's hard. Now then you looking to your left and right. Now you looking to your now you become what? Envy. Now
Mm,
you start saying, why not me? Now you know what I'm saying? Now
mm,
you're not looking for a warrior's dance, but you're looking for somebody, a victim man, a victim point. You know what I'm saying? So now what do you do? It's hard to come out of that hole. It's hard. Now you start putting yourself around people just like you. You start fitting in so you won't be seen.
mhm,
And that was
mhm,
I started doing that because I had no vision, I had no clear, and I'm thinking like, hey, this is what it is. One day, how
yeah,
I'm gonna get out of here. So man, that's when I started saying, no, no, it's not it for me. What are you willing to do? What I'm willing to do. I mean, now I had to start looking in the mirror for real. We talk about this all the time. I had to look inside myself and say, no, man, this ain't over. Now, again, the person that I was could not go where I was thinking. The person I was at that time, no, he wasn't going nowhere. He wasn't going to do nothing. He wasn't no CEO of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that person, what I had to do, I had to find out, look inside and say, hey, I need to put something in here and I need to take some stuff out. I need to find out who I am. You know what I'm saying? Before I can go lead some people, how can I lead somebody when I'm not leading myself the right direction? So that what it was with me, and it's a process. You know what I'm saying? It's a process, but as Jordan said, it's a necessary process. So how do I start? Where do I start? Like in the mirror.
yeah,
Where do I start? Building habits. Start reading. You know what I'm saying? Start dealing with the real issues. What got me here? And taking ownership.
right,
What got me here? I'm gonna get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that's it right there. Taking ownership on your thing and what I got to do. And man, and then, let me say this something, man. For real, something when you do that, magic start happening. I'm not saying magic, but the universe starts.
Yeah. The universe bend things towards you.
It starts bending towards things that you was right in front of you, you never saw it. It's been in front of you the whole time.
Been there.
And it started opening up your eyes start seeing things clear. But they've been there the whole time. See, your mindset had you blocked, your brain had you blocked. So that's where it starts, man. It starts with you. So you can't go lead nobody with your head down. Nobody want, hey, woman, I talked to my wife and I said, what do you want in a man? A leader. I want somebody, a leader, a strong leader, a compassionate leader, an understanding leader. You know what I'm saying? But that leader, when he had to get hard, he had to step up. I remember one time my wife called me. I'm the one to do everything. She called me, and my son got in trouble at school. I said, yeah, well, I want you to do this, do this. I said, oh, no, bet. I was like, oh, soon as you walk through the door, I'm like, I'm this. Well, look,
Mhm.
so I do that, and she come home. She walk in the door. She see him. Oh, hey, baby, hey. I said, hey. He told me to just be that bad. On there. Right, right. Hey, you the bad guy. I'm the one that come and know, what I'm saying, I rose. But yeah, so like I said, you gotta know, man, and do this. But man, and start seeing the bigger picture because we all want to success lead clues. Vince said it all the time. Success does lead clues. And then people that wrote books, seeing people happy, and they left clues. And you can copy it. You see, we can copy.
Mhm.
You can take some of this stuff. Showing that tell me, he said, man, I called him the other night. He told me this before. He said, let me call you back, man. I'm about to say my prayers. I said the prayers for my boy. Oh man, I remember when he first told me, he said, man, every night, me and the boys, and I say my prayers for my boy. You know what I'm saying? That's success lead clues. Thank you. Let me write that down. I'm gonna add that to my book. You see things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want, man, I want to add, this is so good, friends. If y'all getting any value out of this, why don't you go on and click the like button and subscribe?
Yes,
This
sir.
is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And we have heavy conversation like this all the time. I guarantee you. No fluff, no sensational, just real talk. I know that word has been overused in our English lexicon. What's real talk? But this is real talk. This is where you live. This is where we live in our lives, in your home, in struggling financially, trying to make ends meet. But what we do, friends, we're like a plant. You plant a seed, you plant it, it doesn't grow the same time you put it in the ground. But we are planting seeds on this platform. And we've been planting seeds week in and week out. So we know some of you all are getting some strength from these episodes. Now help us to spread it to more people by subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate y'all tuning in tonight, friends. I really hate to end this show, but every good thing must come to an end. And we want y'all to tune in back with us next week. But Fletcher, you got some more departing words you want to share with the community?
Yeah, so y'all single, young men that had the single mothers that didn't have a father. And again, I want to say that to our fathers, especially our black men, we need to step up. But I see a young man that say, man, my father was in my life. I had no men in my life. We just gave you an avenue. So when you go to that job and you see that supervisor, you see that, think about that.
Mhm.
All them, what the company brings that they train you and show you things, you can take them same tools and implement it in your home. No more excuses. You can take them. You can say, "Well, I didn't have them." You can take them same ways and start implement those things in your home. Implement them things with your children as employees, but at a different level. You can take these tools. That's what we hear about, man. We're here to give you these tools to help you through life. Where the landmines at. You know what I'm saying? We tell you don't step there, man. You can step over that. Don't go that way. So it's
Right.
another way. It's a better way. So that's it. A different vehicle that you can use. Again. So now say, hey man, I pray with my boys. Hey, I got to do to add that to it. Success leave clues. We just gave you some clues to add to your life, and again, it's hard out there. but you got to fight, and that's what we need. We need some warriors, man.
Yeah. That's well said. That's beautifully said, man. That is that is beautifully said. I uh I want to give a shout out to Ladiana who been in the chat room holding it down. Ladiana, we see you, we love you, we appreciate you. Thank you for
Yeah,
being there, supporting us. And give our love to Selena. I don't know, but Selena normally in the chat room. I know you told me Fletcher she was under the weather or something during the holidays.
she been under the weather, man. Let's if you can, man, have a prayer for her, man. She been under the weather, but she coming back. She working hard to come back, but let's say a little word for prayer for her, man. We miss you, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, folks, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Fletcher and I, we can't wait to come back on, and Vincent, with you all next Thursday. Uh, we're gonna let you know what the topics will be. I'm gonna be. Listen, can I get real with them, Fletcher?
Yeah, go ahead and get real with her, man. Yeah.
Y'all know Fletcher's always online. The brother's always digging online. He's live on Facebook. When I say these words, I'm not just shooting fluff. The brother's live on Facebook. He's live on his YouTube channel. He's live on TikTok. I mean, he's busy and he's running his Airbnbs. So he's like almost 24/7. But a lot of time when we're digging, trying to come up with a topic, 9 times out of 10 is Fletcher who be having his finger on the pulse of what the burning issue. What's burning? What's on the kitchen diner? What's on the table in the home? What's on the table in people life? Because he's touching shoulder with so many people. So he feel the pushback out there in the community. What's itching? What's scratching? So with that being said, friends, we're going to be collaborating with Fletcher, collaborating with Vincent, and we're going to let you know what the topic's going to be about next week, Thursday. We're going to let you know real soon, but we're going to end the show tonight, and we wish everybody will have a fantastic evening, and thank y'all again for tuning in.
All right, Jordan, there before you go.
What's
Let me,
that?
let me say one thing. Hey,
Yes.
now we talked about family on this thing and talk about CEOs and how we can build a family. It was about building the family up. It's building up the father, building up the mother, building up the family. And we talked about, we didn't really get into about money, but we talked about CEO for finance, but money solves all things. It's things. So you know what the thing was, when they don't solve a relationship, marriage, you know what I'm saying, where your emotion and all that, money can't fix those things. But money solve all things.
It's all a lot, doesn't it?
Oh yes, a lot.
Right. And we want to drive and get to those areas. In fact, who knows? But we want to get to those areas so that you can have that in your arsenal as well.
Mhm.
So you need to subscribe to World Premiere Word on the Street so you don't miss an episode of where we've been, where we are, and where we are going.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
Thank y'all so much, friends, for tuning in. And we will see y'all next Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of World Premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again, same time, same place, right here on World Premiere Word on the Streets. where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.